fear and fright. Well, I'm sure you've already learned a lot about those in medicine. And such big things in life, such big things in life with patients. Going through experiences from which it's hard to recover, which literally cut the root of their life. Could be from lots of different things. So if you look back at page 6, you've got fear and fright. Traditionally, and just notice again, you have two. And fear freezes and immobilizes. Well, better to say paralyzes, because we have immobilization and stillness as a very positive thing, which it is. But this is frozen with fear, we use the term. Everything stops, and is blocked. You're like those fairy tales. You're kind of, it's winter, or everyone's turned to stone. Those kind of images. Suddenly, no one can move. You're frozen. And jing is fright. Well, hard to translate, because jing is both an emotion and a motion and a movement. Jing is jumpiness, twitching and jumpiness and nervous twitches and ticks. And take jing to a logical conclusion, and it would actually be fitting. Uncontrolled movement. What's important is the lack of control. You are unable to control what is happening. Jing, this part on the bottom here, you see these 4 little lines there, which usually in nearly all characters are fire, if you know some Chinese. Here it's not fire. Those are the 4 hooves of a horse. And this is a horse. That's the Chinese for a horse. We're going to talk about the horse in relation to the heart. A horse is a very sensitive creature and highly reactive creature. So that's what you have with jing, fright. And fright scatters the Shen. Fright scatters the Shen. And fear freezes and congeals the qi. So they're very different movements. One, jing, fright, is a kind of uncontrolled yang, and fear is an excess of yin. So you have a kind of perfect correlation to the inauthentic yin is fear, and an inauthentic yang is this jumpiness and fright. Well, let's talk about one of the classic points I would use for fear is kidney 4. Again, we have the names a couple of pages later on, kidney 4. I'm in good company because so would Sun Sun Yao. I'm sure I stole it off him. Kidney 4. Kidney 4. Sorry, I haven't got the points right here. There's the trouble with PowerPoint. You're kind of on the one track, and it's hard to jump. But fortunately, you've got the characters there. John. And in fact, there are 2 slightly different characters. Zhong, the Chinese always do this. Remember, when you have one point name in Chinese, we just call it kidney 4, which means you get no flavor at all, so it could be kidney 5,413,000. It would still mean nothing. Da Zhong, Da means big. And Zhong, depending on the character, either means a bell or a goblet, as in a large chalice. A chalice, or a kind of sacred vessel, however you want to put that. The bell, when it's a bell, it's like that, and when it's a goblet, it's like that. Yeah. So the bell something is downward, and the goblet, something is being received and contained. Yeah? So again, one yang and one yin. Another way to put it, if you call it the big bell, is it is resonating with the sound of the kidneys. It resonates the chi of the kidneys into the body in a strong, healing way, like a healing sound. And of course, it's a low point, a low connecting point with a particular pathway. And the pathway goes to the heel, it's very near the heel, and goes to the Shin Bao, the heart protector, which is important, or the pericardium, I call it, Shin Bao. So it's a kidney point connecting to the function of protecting the heart. Perfect, exactly what you want. And it also goes to the lumbar area of the spine. Well, what could be better? You've got a kind of Ming Men flavor, a heart protection flavor. You've got this strong bell reminding the kidneys of who they are, or you've got a chalice, taking the sacred waters of the kidneys and restoring that, however, or all those images at once. And this is really a great point for anxiety and fear. Lack of self-confidence. And all those kind of phobias, agoraphobia. It's an interesting one. I remember treating a patient years and years ago who's kind of changed character after giving birth, after childbirth. It was a difficult and exhausting birth. And beforehand, she was kind of really kind of sporty woman, always out with her friends and really social and stuff. And after the baby, basically in Chinese medicine, because complete depletion of the kidneys, she didn't want to go out. She never went out. She never met her friends. She never did any sport. She kind of stay at home, didn't answer the phone. All of these things. That's exactly kidney 4. That's really exactly kidney 4. Of course, if they lost a lot of blood in childbirth, you need to build up with food and with herbs and with points as well. But I remember this as being the prime point that really swung things around. And of course, if they're young, then it's easier. Old, fearful people, it's going to be more difficult. Definitely going to be more difficult. And to mention the famous and wonderful Sun Semiao, so-called king of Chinese medicine, 7th century Tang Dynasty doctor. He uses it, so he uses kidney 4 and pericardium 4 for fear, fright, weakness, and lack of spirit. Nice combination. 4 and pericardium 4. It's such a nice point. I'm going to give you a couple of other things. I want it to be helpful for you. And this is such a, when everything is leaked out, when nothing is being stored, when they've lost their root, when they have no link to the inexhaustible source of life. It's just so completely everything the opposite of what we've been saying about the kidneys. So it's a really good point to get them back on track. Here's a nice... and I have used this as a kind of a mini formula as well. Kidney 4 and heart 5. That John, the big bell, and heart 5, fantastic point. Probably talk about it more later on. Tong Li, free communication with the interior. Tong Li. Which is a great point for when people have lost touch with themselves, to put it simply, and to restore the connection to the heart. So what's this formula for? Kidney 4 and heart 5. This is a real Shao Yin formula. This is a real formula to get back that lost jing-shen, strengthen the will, reconnect to the heart. So symptoms would be exhaustion, always wanting to lie down, no energy even to get up. And if you want a very physical version of this this will, it's the ability to get up in the morning. That's the the ability to get out of bed and walk down the road. And people in deep depression, they don't even get out of bed. And that's kind of going back to a kind of fetal, duvet day. It's not a duvet day, it's a duvet year. It's just to be protected, and not to have to speak, not to have to use the heart orifice at the time, all of that. This is fantastic, because heart 5 is the point for never speaking your mind. Heart 5, the point again, has a pathway to the tongue and to the eyes. Heart 5 restores the ability to speak. Maybe speak your truth, when you've just been in a situation where you just feel you can't say anything, but it's actually killing you. It's just eating you up inside. So, kidney 4 and heart 5. Yeah, just sleepy, always wanting to lie down, exhausted, etc. And it's also, this little formula, mathematical formula, also for premature senility. And senility. Old people with dementia, of course not easy to treat, but you might be able to help. With these kind of points, and in dementia, I would use 2 CMA points. Why not? Do my 20 and do my 16. My 20, upper sea of marrow, do my 16. Lower sea of marrow, fantastic. Maybe use Gobert 39 as well. Hui point for the marrow. But these kind of points as well, just to bring them back to themselves, which is very hard. People with dementia, because they don't know who they are anymore. Okay, so great little point there. Let's get back on track here. Okay, in Fright, for Fright, you would treat like kidney 6, kidney 3 as well, and I would do heart points or do all those kind of points, which we'll probably look at more this afternoon. For the heart. But one in particular comes to mind, which is Renmai 15. Renmai 15 is called dovetail, Ju Wei. The bone of the sternum is like the body of a bird, and the ribs are the wings of the bird. The head of the bird is in Renmai 22, and the tail of the bird comes off the sternum here at Renmai 15. Notice the image of the bird and the ability to fly, and therefore into a Shen, and to be able to lift off and see life with a bird's eye view rather than being stuck in your narrow-minded perspective. Renmai 15 has an alternative name, which is Shen Fu, storehouse of the Shen, or storing the Shen. Alternative name. It's a Shen point, essentially. And this is a great point for panic attack. Unreasonable fear, unreasonable anxiety, with all of that means, with the difficulty breathing, palpitations, maybe sweating, a sort of funny mixture of a kind of paralysis and a kind of excess, uncontrolled yang at the same time. Very debilitating. When 15, half 7, Shen Men. These calming, stabilizing, a dual kidney point as well, The kidney 6, something nice and gentle and yin-based, something like that. You do remember in my 15, such a nice point. They can even do it themselves, yeah? They can press it if they start to feel panicky. Press half 7 or press pericardium 6. Some of these things are really useful. Because they tend to reinforce themselves, panic attacks. Once you have one, it kind of notches up another one, so you can have more. So if you can abort it, so much the better. If you can abort an epileptic attack, we'll do my 26. But, everything dissipates rather than building up and exploding with all the damage that does. But, 150. And just notice how, we're talking about the kidneys, but we cannot help but talk about the heart. That they're so related. The needle pointing north-south is one needle. It's kidney one end and heart the other. It's one needle.